Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Weisleder, and I'm delighted to welcome you to TRESA for Consumers at the Celebrate and Learn 2024 event. I'm delighted to be here. Let me tell you a little bit about myself first. I've been a real estate lawyer for over 35 years. I've written best-selling books for buyers, sellers, agents, and landlords. I've been a guest real estate expert on TV and radio. I've been quoted in all the national newspapers on real estate issues, and I'm a senior partner at realestatelawyers.ca LLP. These are the books that I've written that are very popular in Ontario. I'll tell you how to order them at the end of this session. A little bit about our law firm. Although we will attend and sign with everyone in person, most of our clients choose to sign on Zoom, where it's simple and convenient. We can close a real estate deal anywhere in Ontario. If you're a seller, we pay you the closing money the first business day after closing right into your bank account at no additional charge. And if you're a buyer, we make it very simple for you to transfer the closing money to our firm, as we have a trust account at every bank. You'd receive a full report on the day of closing, and we provide a lockbox for all sellers to make it easy to leave the keys for the buyers. I'm also available to give all the advice you need when an agreement is put together. For example, I will review status certificates in advance when you're buying a condominium. I can also answer any landlord-tenant question that you have, and I also do wills and estates. Our pricing is all online, and I invite you to go online to realestatelawyers.ca if you have any questions. So we're here to talk about the changes now that to how real estate services are provided, and it's covered by this new Trust in Real Estate Services Act. And the major change is that before a consumer makes a decision what they want from their real estate agent, they have to review a guide that explains all the services that an agent can provide. And then once you read that, the consumer decides they can either become a client of the brokerage, or they're on their own, meaning that they're self-represented. And although the realtor can assist, they really cannot provide any advice whatsoever. And so to me, once you read the guide and you see the services that an agent can provide you, whether you're buying or selling, to me, it's a very simple decision to just become a client, because you want the agent to be loyal only to you and act in your best interest, and you have to be loyal to the agent. That's one of the main differences in the Act. There also is a change to the laws of disclosure, so I want to explain that to you as well. So the main duty of a seller is this: if you know about a hidden defect in your home that a buyer home inspector could not see, for example, a foundation problem, if you know about it, you have to disclose this to the buyer because they couldn't find out. And if you do not disclose and the buyer finds out after closing, they could still bring an action against you. Well, now the law has changed that even a real estate agent, if they're your agent and they know about this, they also have to disclose this to any buyer. Now, interesting, murder or suicide, which most buyers think is very important, does not have to be disclosed by a seller. But there's a solution for this. If you have a competent buyer agent, they put a clause in your contract that says the seller must represent that there is no murder or suicide that has ever occurred on the property. And then the seller has to tell the truth. Now, you may have heard, but there's changes to bidding wars and the rules. So let's go through it. A seller can still operate as before. In other words, they can say blind bidding, where everybody just submits a bid on their own. And really, that means there's no rules. A seller can deal with one offer or multiple offers. They can really do whatever they want. They just have to disclose the number of offers received, and they can't disclose the identity of a buyer. So that's still available for a seller, but there's new rules under TRESA. And now a seller can tell their agent during the bidding war, I want you to share information. And what information can be shared? Well, it could be the highest price. It could be the highest deposit, the shortest closing date, or whether the offer has any conditions. It could be one or all of this, and you could take different things from different offers. Now, the seller can start by saying, I'm going to do blind bidding, but then decide later to share information. The seller still has to disclose the number of offers they received, but they can't disclose the identity of any buyer. So how do you do this disclosure if you want to share this information? So let's say the seller has received 5 offers. This is how the disclosure is done to all the 5 bidders. Here is the best terms from the 5 offers received. Highest price, example, $1 million. Best closing date, February 29th. Best deposit, $60,000. No conditions. So you see, you could just make this disclosure to all 5 bidders and say, bid again. And people can bid again or not. That's what this is about. Now, can a buyer say, I don't want my information to be shared? They can. And here's a sample clause that has been provided by the Ontario Real Estate Association that basically says, the buyer is saying to the seller, you cannot share my information, and if you do, then this offer is void and it's not acceptable. So this is a way that a buyer can say, I do not want my information shared. Now, let's say the agent said they had $1 million offer, and then you were able to bid again, and you got the property for $1,025,000. Could you say to the agent, prove to me that you had $1 million offer? Well, you cannot force the agent to prove this, but to me, you should not worry about this. You see, if an agent lies about this, and they will keep a record of the offer and send it into the registrar, it's fraud. The agent would lose their license for this. So they're not going to do this, and you should not be as worried about it. Now, let's say you said that your offer could not be shared, but you're not the highest one. Would the seller still share the highest offer with that person? And to me, the answer is yes. Even though the buyer is not allowing their offer to be shared, if they're not the highest, the seller will probably still share the price with that person. So you see, there's a lot of questions in bidding wars, and that's why you need an agent right beside you when you're doing the bidding to make sure that you don't overbid and that you're properly protected.